June the 4th, 2019. We're looking at satellite images over the Gulf of Mexico, and we're watching this tropical system. It's starting to move northward. Now it's getting closer to the coast of Mexico, and it's starting to slow it down somewhat. They went from a 60% chance of tropical development to a 40% chance over the next 2 days. But again, it's very close to the shore of Mexico, and that's kind of got one section of the outer sections of the storm on land, and that's going to slow it down somewhat. Whether or not it became a major hurricane has never been an issue unless it tracked back all the way across the Gulf. But the moisture going across the Mississippi River Valley is the key. Now, you've got moisture that's going to be coming in ahead of the storm through Texas now. That's also going to be a steering factor in this system we're watching that's coming out of the Bay of Campeche now. The spaghetti models are changing, but this, more than likely that's going to steer the storm just like we're looking at, because the front goes much further back than we're seeing up in Texas. This is part of El Nino. We've been talking about it. But guys, with the spaghetti models changing now, we'll look at that. Everything is centering right over that Baton Rouge, New Orleans area. And remember the video yesterday about the Atchafalaya Basin? Well, we got some more news on that. But here's the water vapor images. Now imagine that amount of water there. That's just now. As this thing gets up in warmer water, that's going to change. It's going to be a major rain event, and you're already seeing moisture pushing out in front of this storm. Look at the band between there and the Louisiana coastline. Plus, you add the moisture coming out of Texas into the Mississippi River area. It's not a good scenario. They have now said they are on the Morganza Dam, guys, that long spillway that's basically a dam that they can open if necessary on the Mississippi River north of Baton Rouge. They've delayed that opening, but there's information, we'll look at it. But now this is going to a 40% chance because I think the close proximity to shore is keeping it from fully developing. But here's what's changed in this. It says, regardless of development, the disturbance will likely produce heavy rainfall over portions of eastern Mexico. Now they've added southeastern Texas and the lower Mississippi River Valley during the next few days. They're saying if needed, they're going to send out the Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft, hurricane hunters, and check this out. We'll know more about it. As long as it stays close to the coast like that, it will inhibit its strengthening as far as cyclone development. But the moisture factor is going to be a major player in this deal, guys. When we, again, we'll look at the spaghetti models, and you can see the one that was, which is the purple line, the purple spaghetti track, has moved now over the New Orleans area. It's no longer tracking over towards Florida. So now we're kind of getting these spaghetti models in a, they're coming together, check this out, through this area. And remember, that's just the line indicates the center of circulation of whatever the system is, whether it's larger or small. But the amount of moisture is going to be the key here. The levees are full. They're holding back that Morganza spillway to the last minute. Guys, they got 35,000 acres of corn and other crops planted there in that area. And it's rich delta farmland. But when they open that, the Atchafalaya Basin will be taken out. They will lose all of that. The U.S. will lose another major food source. So that's going to happen already without the storm coming ashore at all, without it even forming. They're saying now in a few days they're going to open it. But I've got a video from the local Baton Rouge station that I'm going to play after this. I want you to check it out. It'll kind of home you in on what I'm talking about. Food across the nation, and if you study this across the world, is we're going into what I would call a famine situation that's setting up for that. Let's look at the Canadian model here. What you're seeing is the moisture go up the Texas coast, come in around the Houston area on this model, or a little south, and move over the lower Mississippi River Valley. Worst case scenario for the Mississippi River Valley, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and the Atchafalaya Basin. but you've got timber there, you've got hunting and fishing there that's going to be disturbed. But when you add all of this together, guys, be prepared. You know, a lot of people have water filters. If your tap's working, you've got water you can filter it, or if you have a lake or stream. But something to think about, and it's happened here about a week ago. They had to do some work on our water line, just for an example. It was out almost 24 hours. Now, we haven't had rain here in a couple of weeks, but if the rain barrels had been full, we would have had the extra water without having a lake or river coming through the backyard. So think about that. Think about getting some rain barrels and store some extra water. A lot of people do that, especially in the South. And if you have a water filter, you can filter it or you can boil it, guys. You 3 days without water, that's it. Your organs start shutting down. Think about it. The Morganza Spillway, this is local. It says the opening of the Morganza control structure has been postponed again until June 9th, 5 days. The U.S. Army Corps says the delay is because the forecast crest of the Mississippi River has been pushed back a few days due to high water. And they predicted it coming down a couple days ahead of this, but you've had additional rain. The river is predicted to reach 60 feet at the Morganza Spillway on June 12th, guys. On June 9th, instead of June 9th, which was in the previous forecast. And they're not going to wait till the 12th for the farmers in there. But you can read this. Farmers stand to lose the entire crop when the Morganza Spillway opens. I think it's about 35 acres of critical food. High waters of the Mississippi River halting projects in downtown Baton Rouge. The farmers are moving the cattle out of the path of Morganza. But you got, again, timber, fishing. They only intend to operate the structure when needed, as to not put additional water into Atchafalaya Basin. Guys, this will be the third time since they built it that they've opened it. The last time was 2011, and they had to because it was going to bust the levees in New Orleans. But guys, watch the video coming up. Thank you for preparing on our channel with emergency food supplies and water filtration systems. Guys, they are lifesavers. They support us, and more importantly, guys, you have something in your hand that will keep you alive. It's a heads up. Be safe.
Now, from Louisiana's news channel, this is 9 News at 6.
Just a big void, a big blank. I said, oh no, but I don't know. I don't have the words for it right now.
Farmers in the path of the Morganza Spillway are trying to figure out where to go from here as they get ready for its historic opening.
Yeah, those farmers say this year could be a total loss of their crops. Austin Kemker takes us there.
I had someone tell me the other day, I like my margaritas, but they said we got to get away from margaritas and start shots. Take the shot. I agree with them.
The grim reality is setting in for Ted Glazer.
Oh, I guess in about a week from now, we won't be standing here. It'll be over the top of the corn.
When the Army Corps of Engineers opens up the Morganza Spillway, the more than 1,000 acres of planted crop you see right behind me will all be destroyed.
You still see the crop growing. It's a tremendous crop out here. Next week after, when I come up here and I see it's underwater, then it's gonna hit.
Glazer says he's got about $300,000 tied up in this year's crop.
All the inputs are in, especially on the corn crop. Seed, herbicides, insecticides, fertilizer.
Until today, farmers like Glazer who have crop insurance wouldn't necessarily be eligible for assistance.
Under the laws of crop insurance, if it is a man-made event, then crop insurance is not responsible to pay for the losses of the crop.
As of this afternoon, Ag and Forestry Commissioner Mike Strain says they're covered.
It's going to be a big loss.
Even then, Glazer says it won't cover everything.
That's going to pay for some of the expenses. I hope it covers our expenses, but it's almost like going to work off the farm and work for a year with no income. Now, this is just 1,000 acres out of 3,500 acres, but 1,000 acres, you can say a third of your crop is, your income is gone.
Strain says his department is working on other funding solutions.
It's the Livestock Indemnity Program, the Emergency Assistance ELAP Program, also to get a secretarial declaration of disaster, which works through our governor and the U.S. Secretary Perdue to where those farmers can participate in other USDA programs and get low interest loans.
Even with the assistance, Glazer says this loss still hurts, but he's staying optimistic.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be difficult. You just have to stay positive.
The Corps is expected to open the Morganza on June 2nd. In Point Coupee Parish, Austin Kemkerer, WAFB 9 News.
Now, the Ag Commissioner Mike Strain says up to 25,000 acres of crops could be affected when the spillway is opened. He says that does not include timber or fish.